Hey, what's going on, everyone? Thank you for tuning in and checking out my latest video. So today's video is going to be talking about the upcoming matchup between Srisaket Sor Rungvisai of Thailand versus Juan Francisco Estrada of Mexico. Outstanding styles matchup. HBO fight night. It's going to be an outstanding card. And ultimately, I believe this fight goes down to the wire. Going to be very, very close and maybe a controversial decision, in my opinion, depending on who wins this fight. So I hope you guys enjoy this video. I'm going to talk about both of these fighter styles, some keys to the fight, in my opinion, and some advantages they have over one another. Hope you guys enjoy the video. So when looking at this fight, guys, let's first start off with Srisaket Sor Rungvisai. So Sor Rungvisai is a massive fighter for this weight class. He's very strong. He loves to walk forward. He's a southpaw, very heavy on his front foot, so he loves to throw that straight left. Also follows up with body shots. And when you try to clinch or hold him, he likes to throw uppercuts, throws wide hooks. Um, Ultimately, as he progresses in a fight, he likes to mix up his combinations and become less predictable. And he also has the ability to counterpunch, which is very unique for his style, and I think makes him very awkward for opponents to kind of feel out. And one of his biggest keys, in my opinion, is his durability. This is a guy who always has stamina for the championship rounds. He takes an excellent shot. Very, very tough guy. Probably the toughest guy in the division, in my opinion. Just walks forward like a machine. So this guy is a highly skilled fighter. Very powerful. And with his style, he's going to be very hard to beat. Now, when you look at Juan Francisco Estrada, in my opinion, he is the most underrated fighter in boxing. Nobody gives this guy credit, and he is an outstanding fighter. When I look at him, I see a guy with versatility. He can change to be an aggressive fighter. He can be a counter puncher, picking his shots using movement, getting out of range. He's a guy with an excellent jab who loves to throw the right hand after it. Throws that 1-2 and then goes the left hook to the body. Style-wise, it reminds me a lot of Juan Manuel Marquez. And when you're a stationary target against him, you better look out because that's when he unleashes six-punch combinations easily. And he uses very good angles, and he'll get out after throwing those six punches. This guy, extremely smart boxer, doesn't get the credit he deserves. And ultimately, to me, he's one of the smartest fighters in the sport of boxing, in my opinion. Now, some advantages I'm going to talk about that both have over one another in this matchup. Let's first start off with the advantages that Srisaket Sor Rungvisai has in this fight. So Sor Rungvisai, in my opinion, is the bigger man of the two, so he's going to be physically stronger. I also believe he's the better power puncher of the two, and that he has better durability than Juan Francisco Estrada. I think that Sor Rungvisai is going to have better stamina late in this fight, and also I believe he takes a better shot than Estrada does as well due to his size. And ultimately his stamina, unreal work rate that he has. When you look at Estrada, some advantages that he has in this fight, in my opinion, is Estrada has a better defense of the two. Also, his versatility gives him an edge in this fight. So what I mean by that is he can be aggressive and land a lot of shots, and he can also counterpunch and use a lot of different angles and movement. And that's things that you're not going to see from Sor Rungvisai. He's not going to use that type of movement, and he's not going to be feinting and things like that, set up shots as well as Juan Francisco Estrada does. Also, I believe that he's a more accurate puncher of the two as well. And when you look at him, I also believe he has a better jab, and he throws the straighter punches that are less easy to counter when you talk about Juan Francisco Estrada. Now, some keys to the fight, in my opinion, when I look at this matchup. So for Srisaket Sor Rungvisai, a key for him is to start off very fast like he usually does, especially against Estrada. Estrada is a fighter who kind of likes to figure out what his opponent is doing, so it takes him 2 to 3 rounds to really get going. So he needs to start off strong. I also believe that Sor Rungvisai should mix up his combinations a little earlier than he normally does, because I find when you watch him on film, he likes to start mixing up his combinations and becoming less unpredictable around 6 or 7. But that's really when Estrada gets his groove. So in my opinion, you want to start that off earlier than usual. Also, a big key in this fight, in my opinion, for Sor Rungvisai is constant pressure is going to be key in this fight. So when Estrada does land his 1-2, which he will, you're going to need to track him down when he gets out and be able to press him and get in his face and use your size and consistently throw punches to tire him out for later in this fight. I think those are huge keys, in my opinion, for Sor Rungvisai. Now, when you look at the keys for Juan Francisco Estrada in this fight, I think very early on, since he likes to gauge his opponent and figure out what they're doing, I think he needs to land his shots um, and get out right away. So, say if you're going to throw that 1-2 and then throw a left hook to the body after it, do that and then get out of range so that Sor Rungvisai has to reset and has to come after you. You don't want to stay in the pocket with this fighter, in my opinion. He's a huge guy. He's massive. But later on in the fight, I think once Juan Francisco Estrada feels comfortable, then he will be able to gauge if he wants to be more of the aggressor. Because if there was one tendency that I've seen Sor Rungvisai, he does get hurt to the body. Roman Gonzalez showed that in the first fight. And Estrada is very good at attacking fighters to the body when they're stationary. So that's something that if he can kind of mix up his shots and keep Sor Rungvisai guessing, use that versatility like I was saying earlier, then Estrada has a great chance of winning this fight, in my opinion. So when I look at this matchup, guys, ultimately who am I going to take in this fight? It's very, very tough, 50-50 matchup. I mean, you can make arguments for both fighters why you would pick one to win over another. So in my opinion, looking at the fight, Sor Rungvisai, I feel, is going to do very well in the early rounds in this fight. Middle rounds are going to go to Estrada, in my opinion. And then it's going to come down to the championship rounds, I think. So that's interesting because a lot of people, if you're saying it like I am, they'd be picking Sor Rungvisai, the favorite in this fight. But actually, I'm going to go against Sor Rungvisai and pick Estrada in this matchup. And the reason why I'm picking Estrada in this fight, I believe that ultimately, when you look at Sor Rungvisai, he's a very upright fighter. So why that favors Estrada is Estrada has a very good jab and he throws a lovely right hand. So he won't have to find Sor Rungvisai with those shots. He can consistently land those and get out. Or he can change the style and do other combinations off that. Also, Sor Rungvisai does not move that much and he's a stationary target at times, especially if you're able to land combinations to the body. Estrada, very good combination puncher to the body. And that's something that I think is also going to be key in this fight. And I believe that Sor Rungvisai's style of always coming forward is actually very good for Estrada because Estrada is a very good counterpuncher. The only thing I think is key on my pick is I'm banking on Estrada throwing more punches than he usually does. Because sometimes in recent performances, Estrada's output of punches hasn't been there. In this fight, he's going to need to pick up his counter punches and throw more than he usually does to keep Sor Rungvisai off him. But ultimately, guys, I'm going with the more skilled fighter, in my opinion, in this fight. I just think that Estrada has too many weapons in this matchup. I think he's going to mix things up. He's going to have a great game plan. And also, he's got a pretty good defense as well. A lot of people forget that about Estrada. So those are just some keys, in my opinion. And like I said, I think he's going to take advantage of those wide hooks that Sor Rungvisai throws and counter a lot of those big time. And the difference is between him and Roman Gonzalez is Roman Gonzalez could counterpunch as well, but Roman Gonzalez was always in Sor Rungvisai's face, whereas Estrada is going to be giving you different angles of movement. And movement always beats, a lot of times, a big power puncher, right? If you look at historically in boxing, power punchers usually lose against guys who have movement and can give you angles and have good defense. Now, ultimately, though, so I do think Estrada will win a unanimous decision in this fight. However, I am taking a big risk picking him in this matchup because Sor Rungvisai, excellent boxing IQ. He's the bigger man in this fight. And championship rounds, he comes on very strong. And Estrada is going to be having to work very, very hard in this fight. So will Estrada have the stamina to keep up to Sor Rungvisai? So these are all very good questions. I believe that decision will go to Estrada, and ultimately that's my pick for Estrada. I believe Estrada wins a close, unanimous decision. If it's going to be a stoppage, it's going to be Sor Rungvisai. It's going to be a very, very interesting fight. Can Sor Rungvisai continuously pressure Estrada? And if Estrada doesn't throw enough punches, it's going to be bad for him because Sor Rungvisai, you got to keep him off. He's got to respect you. If he doesn't, you're in trouble because Sor Rungvisai, he's skilled. Like I said, he walks forward the whole time, hell of a chin. So Estrada is going to have to gain his respect, and he's going to have to throw more than he usually does, or else Sor Rungvisai is going to knock him out, in my opinion. Much credit to both of these fighters, both outstanding. Let me know what you guys think on this fight. Ultimately, it's going to be a great showdown. Let me know who you guys pick in this matchup. Thank you very much, guys, for tuning in once again, and enjoy this fight. Thank you very much.